Makau, Makau Pisope. Katap ki motol, katai, funo tapu ini. Koe kore tu ufang fatapu, o hokati helefa Britania. I pay respects to the peoples of the land. I also pay respects to our Archbishop here present, Bishop Marines, acknowledge your presence, and through you give you thanks and word of gratitude for the invitation to be part of such a young group of presenters, including myself. I'm such an honor. I am humbled to be sitting beside such young advocates and activists, and I commend you already for your work and the successes achieved, and also challenge you to continue with the work and with the fighting and the advocacy and the activism that you are all involved in. I come from the Anglican Church of Aotearoa, New Zealand and Polinesia. The Tikanga Maori sang to you this at the beginning. I come from the Polynesian part. Like what Isaac said, where Paikea came from, I'm from there. So when I talk about the ocean, I live in it. I'm going to try and connect the ocean with the Amazon. So the ocean, like the Amazon, captures carbon. If my numbers are correct, Pacific Ocean produces between 50 to 80% of the world's total oxygen. 20% is produced by the Amazon in the forest. And out of that 20% of oxygen produced in the forest, 80% of that 20% is owned by indigenous peoples. In my region, I have 12 Pacific Island countries, indigenous, independent countries. Okay? And so when we talk about the environment, for our region, for my country, I come from Tonga. Tonga is 98% ocean. 98% ocean, 2% island. But the total space that Tonga covers, is, I think, the same as Colombia and Venezuela and Paraguay included. But we are all ocean. What I want to get here is that we have two areas that seemingly have nothing in common, but produce the one thing that everyone needs, that's oxygen. Now, we have issues when you face firestorms here in the Amazon. For us, the equivalent is tropical cyclones. Okay? It messes up, it destroys our places, it destroys our habitats. And there's no, I'm not going to tell you and try to convince you that climate change and firestorms and all, you know, and cyclones are caused by human-induced activities. So, if we are to come and protect our oceans and our forests, we need to be looking at and working with those people who know best what it is and how to do it, how to protect your ocean and how to protect your forests. And I commend the Church for taking the initiatives and also working with indigenous peoples to see how we can protect our forests. At the same time, for us in the Pacific, as a church, we are also working to protect the ocean. we're trying our very best to get rid of plastics and pollution from the ocean, taking it out of the ocean. We can talk about that later. But the message here is, if we want to protect both these two lungs of our earth, that is the ocean and the forest, we need to be working with those people who know best how to protect it. The Anglican Communion has launched a campaign around lungs of the earth, and it focuses on three areas: ice caps, rivers, and oceans. So it's only natural that we look at and focus on rivers, as in the Amazon, and oceans, as in Pacific Ocean. Rivers this year, oceans next year. Why we say oceans next year? Because we want COP31 to come to the Pacific. Okay? So, if you go around and you see people and you talk to them, tell them COP31 in the Pacific. My last message is this. When I was listening to the issue of fires and the struggles of the indigenous peoples to deal with firestorms and disasters, we in our church, our young people have developed a system that allows one to help a community in the lead up to a disaster, during a disaster, and following up after the disaster. And it uses global QGIS open source app, software, together with geosatellite imaging.
Então usa um aplicativo de geolocalização junto também com dados de satélite.
So I'm just thinking, I'm looking straight at Archbishop Marines and Bishop Umberto. And this is about partnerships. This is about interdiocesan partnerships. And if we think it's possible, let's talk about how we can put at your disposal the know-how of our young people. Isaac is here. The know-how of our young people who have developed this app and this system to address disasters. So, yeah, this is where I'll stop, because we can go on. We can go on talking about potential partnerships around lungs of the earth, potential partnerships between the Amazon and the ocean, the Anglican Communion Office campaign around lungs of the earth, which will go on between this year and also next year. So it's a long-term activity, but let's talk more about that.